Hey, this is DJ, this is Kaz, we're Buried Above Ground, and this is Speak of the Devil podcast.
From Podcastville. Today is October 25th, 2020, and we have a very special episode of the Speak of the Devil podcast for you today. We actually have a special guest via Zoom, which everybody's into the Zoom thing right now, and we're jumping on the train as well. We actually have someone who we've had before on the podcast, Tommy Gibbons of Farewell to Fear, and now of his own solo project, Tommy Gibbons. We're going to talk to him here momentarily, just kind of catch up on where he is kind of trending in the charts right now, the future plans for Farewell to Fear, and we're just going to, do our normal video game, and then actually tonight, me and Tommy are going to go through the predictions for Hell in a Cell 2020 tonight. So, without further ado, my friends, here is Tommy Gibbons. All right, welcome back. So, as we said, our special guest today is Tommy Gibbons. So, welcome, sir. Nice to have you back.
Oh, good to be back. Good to be back.
Absolutely. So, I just couldn't help myself. I had to reach out to you, man, because, we've been Facebook friends since the last time we did the podcast. But my God, you are blown up right now, sir.
Yeah. It's been a crazy few months, man. Like, didn't plan for any of this, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
So is the quarantine kind of the reason that you decided to put out your own solo project, or is that something that you were going to kind of do anyway?
I guess. Honestly, even if the quarantine didn't happen, I probably was going to do this anyways.
Yeah.
I just wasn't expecting to do it so soon.
Yeah, and looking at the notes that I've seen, you are in crazy company right now, my friend. On the Foundation's top 10 greatest gainers, number 1 is AC/DC. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure. They just put out that awesome song. Number 2 is Greta Van Fleet. Also awesome. And number 3 is you. This is crazy. This is good. This is awesome. And that's just one. That's just one. And then on the Billboard mainstream, Rock Indicator, most increased plays. Also in the same company with Five Finger Death Punch and AC/DC. Again, come on. That's got to be awesome.
Oh, it's incredible. And especially like I got those numbers like the day after its release. Like
right.
I'm terrible at like bragging. I'm the worst at it actually. Because I try to remain humble as possible, but like seeing that I couldn't even like figure out how to react to it. I'm like, what do I say or what do I do?
Yeah, this is a good time to toot your horn because I think this is well deserved. When you think about just the plethora of music that's actually out there right now, to be able to cut through and actually have people recognize this, it's amazing. I think it deserves, a pat on the back. I think you should kind of just savor the moment. It's fantastic, my friend.
Thank you. And for me, it's a person. It's really, it's very personal because I always kind of felt like nothing wrong with this. Like, I play guitar for Farewell to Fear, which I love, by the way. Wade Coda, who's a good friend of mine, also, American Idol fame. But I always felt like I've always been in everyone else's shadow,
Right.
Like, I'm always just, I'm their guitar player. I'm their guy. And I have nothing, this isn't me complaining. I have nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I always kind of felt like it's all like that wrestler that wants to break out of the tag team. Like, I want my own fame. I've been feeling
Shawn
like
Michaels.
That,
Like
yeah,
Shawn
Shawn Michaels broke out of, or you could also say Triple H too, broke out of DX.
That's right, exactly.
Got out of Shawn Michaels' shadow, you know what I mean? So I just felt like this was my time, I wanted, I wanted to see if I could do this, if I have the skills to do my own thing.
So, is there any I mean, now that I'm sure did you put this out independently, or was this through a label, or?
No, I'm actually I pride myself on doing things independently. I mean, I have a really, really awesome management, MK Music. They have done a lot for me. They also manage Feral to Fear. A couple of other great bands, Black Wolf Mountain, who is actually from here. I'm actually producing their next record.
Wow.
They're like a southern rock band. They're incredible. Very great, very good band. Jeff Carlson band, which is signed to RFL Records, a really good band too. So he's got quite a plethora of artists. So just for me to be lumped in that category is really cool. And he's done a lot to help me, give me good direction on what to do, and
So obviously it's a hard question to answer given the fact that we're still in the middle of the pandemic. But I mean, are we hoping to ride this wave to maybe some live performances, or getting like your own band together? I mean,
as of right now, I'm gonna say no. I mean, okay, I don't want to say no and completely ruled out. As we know in the entertainment industry, never say
no. Yeah, especially you're riding a wave.
I personally, and this isn't, I'm not trying to get political or anything like that. I keep that stuff out of the, but I personally don't feel comfortable playing out right now. I just don't. I know there's a lot of bands out there that are doing it, and I think that's great. I'm not dogging anyone, but just for me personally, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel ready. Yeah. And here's the thing. When I do get back out there, I want to be 100%. I want to give everyone my best. Exactly. I feel like if I go out there right now, there's going to be a lot of other things on my mind, and I'm not going to be able to focus on the show. Like, I want people to see me at 100%, see me at my best. And that's with Farewell to Fear, Wade Coda, or my own thing. I know we have a show coming up September of next year.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about, yeah.
Which I'm... Go ahead.
So this is what I want to talk about. This is also kind of leading in with where you're at right now. I mean, you're on the Billboard chart right now with Five Finger Death Punch. And next year, late September, I believe it's the 23rd and 24th through 26th of September next year, the Rebel Rock Festival. You are going to be playing on, looks like the second night with Five Finger Death Punch headlining that night.
Yeah, the irony of that, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's like you're on the same chart with them, and now then you're going to be playing that. I think as I was thinking about that earlier, I think that might be fair to maybe late September next year to have a full.
Yeah, and it's a one-off too. It's just a festival show. Oh my God, are we serious? Sorry.
Oh, bro, we can edit it.
It's a festival show, so I'm not. I think it'll be fine. It's just again, there's like a whole another year. It's hard for me. I hate. How do I word this?
Have they given you any details? Like, is it supposed to be a full show at this point? I mean, I would assume yes, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a full show. I mean, again, it's still a whole year out.
Right.
So who knows? I mean, I've learned being in this business to not plan too far ahead.
Yeah.
Because I might come to I kind of learned to just go with the flow with things.
True.
Especially right now.
Yeah, I know, especially right now. But I mean, I think that would. I've heard some mainstream artists are trying to get back as early as March. I think that's a little bit too presumptuous. I don't think maybe to some smaller capacity or outdoor venues or something like that.
And that's what makes it difficult, though. Is when is it going to be time? Who is going to finally say, okay, let's do it? Eventually, someone's just got to stand up and do it, and that's what makes it hard because it's like you got one side that's like, oh no, we need to, let's stay safe, and I get that. But then there's the other side. It's like, okay, but how long are we going to be cowering in fear over this thing? That's where it gets tricky.
There were a couple. I think there were a couple, one rock festival that happened over the summer. I don't know if it, people got COVID or not, but obviously Sturgis happened. I mean, everybody saw that with Smash Mouth playing and, full pack. But, I think given another year and then, I really do. I think it's a smart September, the end of September. I think it's really smart.
Yeah,
I would think that would be possible. I know that, some band, I listen to Rob Flynn. From Machine Head. He has his own little kind of daily just kind of podcast or whatever, and he doesn't think they're coming back until 2022 and like full. They want to tour Europe
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff.
I could believe that. I mean, especially with a guy that's that high up in the industry. I mean, he would probably know better than I would. But I think right now though, for any artist, I feel like right now is the ultimate opportunity to drop content. Everyone's on a level playing field, in my opinion, right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, half the reason why I'm doing so well with Feral to Fear and with my solo stuff is why it's charting so well. I believe personally because we're dropping content and no one has anything to do.
Yeah, a lot of people have held back albums, right? I know some people have put them out, but
I personally think right now is the perfect time to drop content. Everyone's stuck at home. Everyone just wants good shit to listen to.
Yeah, I think it's just that old school. Everyone's through that cycle of having the album picked up. Marketing, touring like right now.
Right.
Tour, I feel hesitant.
And I get that. I totally get that. And that's also kind of one of the reasons why I want to stay independent and not be signed to a label, because I can call my own shots. I'll do whatever I want. And if I make a mistake, I ain't gonna necessarily hurt me that much.
Yeah. And in these days, I mean, I don't know if putting it on independent, I mean, owning your own masters is so key today.
Oh, it really is. It really is.
So you have control over everything. I mean, I'm telling you, but I really like the song "Damned" is awesome. Oh my God, man! I didn't want to get too cheesy. I almost did it. I was like, because sometimes I've recorded intros and stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna butcher your stuff, but I was jamming on it yesterday. It was awesome, man. And now I've got that thing, where you get the song stuck in your head. Damned has been running through my head all day. I can't get it out of my head.
Oh, thank you. What's funny is out of all the songs, that one's got the least amount of attention, and I'm like, God, I thought this. Personally, I liked "Damned" better than "Red Flag."
Yeah, I think you kind of always tend to find on hard rock albums. Usually, the really heavy stuff usually isn't what gets the mainstream push. But it's always the stuff that I like on Godsmack's latest album, "The Eye of the Storm" was the very last song on that album, and it's the only song that's super heavy, and it's my favorite. So maybe I'm just biased. I just love super heavy stuff. But oh my God, wait! I was playing these. Yeah, I assume you're playing a 7-string, because I was gonna say, I don't know where I was. I must have been in A sharp or A or something. What is that tuned in?
Damned. Actually, all my stuff is all my stuff except Red Flag. Damned and Tonight are both in drop A.
Drop A. Oh my God. Yeah. It gets. I mean, I have some really heavy strings, almost baritone on my 6-string, but it's like, man, it starts turning like spaghetti at that point. Like you need a 7-string. Which brings me to, I mean, I want to talk a little bit about your Bad Boy guitars.
Oh yeah. So how that actually happened was from a friend of mine. His name's Terry Babbage. We were at some July 4th party, I think. I don't exactly remember. It was a couple years ago. And we were at the owner of Bad Boy's house. I wasn't really sure whose house it was or whatever. I was just going with a friend and whatever. But then Terry was talking to me. He was like, hey man, I want you to check out this guitar company that I work for. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I'd love to check it out. And then so I was talking to people, which is great guys. Perry, who owns Bad Boy, he's a great guy, and his wife Terry, she's amazing. And then they never done 7-strings before, and that's my thing. Is I'm like, well, I love 7s. I pretty much can't play anything else. So I was like, could you build me a 7? They're like, well, we've never done it. Well, let's try it. And actually, if you wait right here, so they put together this guy.
I've seen that. What is the wood? That wood looks amazing.
Shoot.
Oh no, might be getting you in trouble, bro.
No, it's okay. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So I do know
it looks very exotic, whatever it is.
I think. Oh man. Oh shoot. I don't remember. I know it's so embarrassing, but I can tell you the pickups I use are jank tone pickups. Okay. They're smaller. They're a custom company. These are actually my signature pickups. Oh God, what is?
Are those active or passive?
No. You know what's funny is I'm actually totally not a fan of active pickups. Like I'm just not into them. I feel like they just all kind of sound the same. Like no matter what guitar you have, no matter what kind of wood you have, they're just
It's just pushing the gain so hard, no matter what. It's very one-dimensional.
Yeah. I just feel like it.
Although I don't know, I have the headset in one of mine, and that's a very good blend because I mean, he went through a kind of painstaking process. I mean, the Hetfield bridge pickup definitely does not feel like the 81. I mean, because
I haven't tried his pickups yet, so I'm one of those guys. I'm not completely ruling it out. Like,
I got you. Because in one, I think in my Les Paul, I went totally passive, and I have the Seymour Duncan Invader on the bridge. I always wanted to get one of those with those huge magnet poles or whatever. So
right.
I like it both, but that one, I mean, 7-string, and that's consumer ready. Like anybody can buy that, right, off their website or whatever, or is that just you?
Probably not like exactly this guitar, but he could definitely build you something pretty close to it.
All custom.
Actually, right now we're actually working on my second custom model, which I cannot wait to reveal that. Like, if you think this thing is cool, wait till you see the next one. Like, oh my god!
I mean, I know it's probably hard to describe. What kind of shape?
Basically the same shape. This is actually one of his custom shapes. He showed me the template for it, and I just fell in love with it because it's like
so cool.
It's got like. It's still kind of like a super strap, but it's got like this cool modern twist to it. I love this.
Almost like on the bottoms, almost like that old BC Rich kind of look. Just a tad.
Yeah,
Totally. You know what I mean on the bottom fins there.
Yeah, and I fell in love with the shape like right away when he showed me that template. I was like, nope, that's what I want. Just whatever that is, I want that.
What about strings? What about strings? What strings are you using?
I'm actually sponsored by Ernie Ball.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I use their strings. And you know what? I know that technically, I guess people like, they like what they like. I've always liked Ernie Balls since I was like 12. So
yeah, I've on all my 6 strings, I use the heavy top, low bottoms or whatever. I think it's like a orange pack or something like that. It's perfect. So you're not like sitting there with your fingers bleeding from doing solos, but you still get some kind of tightness up top. So yeah, I've always been an avid fan. I actually I use DR strings. Actually, they make these.
I used to love DRs.
They make these like the spider drop down ones. Those have been the most consistent. Those feel like telephone wires and not spaghetti. Right.
No, I know what you mean. Dude, DRs are great, man. I love DRs. That would be like my second choice for sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I might have to. Maybe I don't have the scratch to get your signature, but maybe I have to call Bad Boy up and get me a custom 7-string because I
think that would be awesome.
That's the only thing I don't have. I when I first started playing, 20 years ago or something, like I had gotten a 7, and it was just that. But now it's like after I've been playing so long, it's like I want one, but I think my wife might kill me after having about 15, 16, or 20 guitars already in the house. So. I go, yeah, but this one has 7 strings,
Yeah, it's different. It's got that lower string. It's way different. Absolutely.
And they do like custom, like, because I've always been like a Paul Stanley Iceman body style. Could they like cut?
I'm sure they can do it. You can do whatever you want, man.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I think that might be my next route.
Yeah, after we hop off, I'll be glad to give you his contact info and stuff.
Yeah, I'll try to in the link or the podcast description. I'll put a link to their website in the description if anybody wants to check that out.
Awesome.
So cool, man. So is there anything? I think that's pretty much it for music right now. Unless there's anything you want to plug or talk about. Okay, cool.
No, good.
So let's move on to video games, which also isn't there very much to talk about. But I am curious. Are you interested in the next gen of the Xbox One X or Series X or PS5?
I already pre-ordered PS5, bro.
See, so I had it in my box. I was one of those people. Did you get it that day, the pre-order that day, or were you caught in all that confusion?
I waited a while because I wasn't even sure. Because here's my problem that I've ran into. Yeah, juggling 3 projects. By the end of the day, like I just don't have the brain capacity to play a video
Yeah,
game.
no, I feel
But
you, man.
I've been really into. I got that new Mortal Kombat 11, which I fucking love that game, man.
Dude, have you
God, it's
seen
super
the
fun.
new the Rambo trailer?
Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I got that WWE Battlegrounds, which I actually loved it.
Really?
Have-
I skipped it.
I
I just
loved it.
really is
I
it?
just,
Nope.
it's so over the top and so stupid that I love it. Like it's so. Here's the thing: Battlegrounds, you have to play with friends, and you will have a blast.
That's
Playing it by
that's
yourself,
what it is.
it's because it's got kind of like that Mario Party vibe, but it's like
Right.
it's your wrestling. So I loved it.
Wasn't there
But,
one like crazy like 10 years ago, like All Stars or Legends or something like that?
Yeah,
It was,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
super crazy. I like that one.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of like there's definitely some influence on, but not the same.
It's just a miniature kind of character kind of thing. I don't know. I was just like, I might step out on that one. But it's too bad that they didn't make another, 2K series. But I know that all kind of fell apart with the developers kind of changing hands. I saw that whole
2K20
story.
was such a fucking nightmare. That was
Oh my God! And
holy
and
shit.
I was in on the first Switch one, and I was just dying. I was hoping that was gonna, be better, but it's just like the Switch one is so bad that the entrances take so long that by the time the wrestlers get to the ring, the screen starts dimming because it wants to go into sleep mode.
Well, at least that means they got the Undertaker's entrance right.
Yeah, I guess they're gonna honor him, right? At
Survivor Series,
yeah,
which makes
Series this
sense.
year.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
I just think he's my favorite wrestler of all time, but at the same point, like I just hope, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
They'll do him right. They'll do him right.
Yeah, of course.
So, have you seen how big the PS5 actually is, though? I mean, it's a gargantuan tower. I didn't realize how big it was until they
It's
did that
basically a
unboxing.
computer almost. Yeah, it's
Well, I mean, it's basically a big heat sink. If you look at it, that heat sink is like this huge piece. That's why it was like, I guess it had to be so big. I had no idea. I thought the initial promo pictures didn't make it look that big, but once it's next
Right.
to the Doom, and it's like, whoa. But yeah, I got screwed out on that. I was in the cart. I had it on Best Buy site, and it just wouldn't repeat. And I was like, after like 3 or 4 hours of trying, I was like, forget it. And I really wanted to get it because during the quarantine, I really got into PSVR. Like I had never really played VR before. I picked up a cheap helmet and then started playing some games. I was like, wow, this is great. And PlayStation has announced a camera for the PS5, but they have not announced VR. They've announced that you can play PSVR on PS5, but you need to request a free adapter from them to convert your old camera. You have to use the old camera, not the new one.
Right.
And it's all this craziness. So it's like I kind of jumped out of that boat because I was hoping that they were going to announce their new headset along with that, and they never did. And I thought, well, with the lack of that, like knowing that, I mean, all of the exclusives like Spider-Man Miles Morales, all
Right.
of the Horizon game, those are also going to be on PS4 as well. So
Right.
we don't really have any new exclusives coming until next year. And then obviously Microsoft buying out Bethesda, for what, 7.5 billion. So now all of your Assassin's Creeds and all those kind of games are, going to be somewhat exclusive. I think Microsoft said that they want to, they'll allow some cross-party play just so they can get that money, because why not sell extra copies? But
for sure.
the exclusive content and all that stuff will go that way. So, and I mean, I don't know if did you hear about all the story with the bots? I mean, the bot thing was crazy. I mean, initially,
I haven't. I've been kind of out of touch with that because I literally pre-ordered it and I just was like, okay, cool.
yeah. So it happened on both. It was a shit show for both Microsoft and PlayStation because I mean, Microsoft tried to do it better, but they can't help themselves. They can't fight off bots. So
Right.
everybody, the first night of the PlayStation, everybody mostly got it through bots. And if you go on, I don't know if it's still that way on eBay now, but that night, people were selling their pre-order tickets for like $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, and people were buying it. And the same thing happened it happened. Everyone was predicting it was going to happen with Microsoft, but I just kind of went old school, went down to the actual GameStop and just waited in the line with all the rest of the human filth. But and I actually got there, and I was the last person in line, and it was like this unofficial mob, and they were kind of like, "Yo, there ain't nothing left unless you want an Xbox S," and I'm like, "That's what I want." And they're like, "All right, cool, you can come in." It was weird.
Oh,
But
man.
so I did. I actually, yeah, I pre-ordered an S. Not, I like I said, I jumped out of the PS5 because they're not doing VR. I actually did just pick up a Quest 2, the Oculus, from Facebook.
Oh shit.
That's really cool. The only caveat to that is you have to have a Facebook account and use your Facebook account to actually use the device. So some people don't like that because Facebook is all up in your business, but it is
Yeah.
what it
Well, I
is.
mean, they already are up in your business.
Right.
So.
That's what I mean. I'm like, whatever. The thing that's weird about
Right.
Oculus though is, I mean, gosh, I've been honestly online since day one of Xbox Live. Shit, I was in that before that when we were launching freaking PCs to do Halo 1 on fucking original Xbox. But anyway, I've always had my gamer tag from day one for like 20 years or 15 years now as Iceman James. Iceman after my guitar or whatever. And I'm so used to like playing games where people just call me Iceman, but on Oculus, it's like it says my full name, James Barber.
Oh,
So I'm playing these games with like these 10-year-olds, and they're like, "James, come here. James, go over here." It's so weird. I'm like, no, I don't like being called by my name. That's the only thing I wish. I wish you could have some kind of gamer tag or nickname or something. Like, I don't really like people calling me by my real name in a game. It's kind of off-putting, but the Oculus is very cool. So you got the PS5, I got the Xbox Series S, so that'll be pretty cool. Now let's go to the main event, and if we can, I think we'll have plenty of time actually to upload this before the event, so a few people might actually hear this before it happens. So let's do our 2020 WWE Hell in a Cell prediction. So
oh boy.
I think the notes came out backwards. It came out from the top to the bottom. But let's go to the bottom card. I don't want to start from the top because that'll be silly. So
Well,
let's
first
go.
off, this card they've done such a shit job of putting this card together. Like, I feel like, God, it was like only 4 announced matches or some shit like that.
4 announced match. Well, announced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, it was 4 until Friday, and on SmackDown they announced the other 3. But
okay, I missed SmackDown this past Friday, so this will be good though.
yeah, so they're pushing real hard to have stuff break on Fox or whatever. But anyway, I don't know. But before we get into it, how do you? I mean, I know it is what it is, but how do you feel about the Thunderdome?
I think that's kind of cool. Like, I see what they're trying to do. I get it.
I mean, but would you ever? Let's just say. I mean, I know. Technically, I guess they say it's hard to get into it. But even if it was easy, would you ever want to do that? Just sit there in front. Like, how do you do it? Like, I guess you just sit there like this and basically just watch the show.
Yeah. I guess I just. I don't know. It's an innovative idea, though. I think it's a cool concept, and trying to keep the whole social distancing thing. I think it's actually pretty neat.
It's better than the Performance Center. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
WrestleMania was very awkward. Except for the
first night was awesome. I thought it was great.
I think the pre-tape matches were great. The Funhouse match and the Undertaker match. I mean, that was so legendary.
So good.
Oh my God. And then Undertaker riding off to Metallica. I mean, you can't he's a fanboy more than me like that.
Oh yeah, I was like, dude, my favorite band, my favorite wrestler, you can't beat this shit.
Yeah, this is great. That's how the Undertaker goes out.
Oh yeah, perfect.
But I mean, outside of that, though, I mean, all that stuff in the Performance Center was kind of lame. I like the Thunderdome and the fact that they can do all the normal camera angles and stuff and kind of shoot it, and it feels normal. So I'm not so opposed to it, but it's just weird that the only thing is, I know it's just because of the nature of the virus, but more than anybody, I mean, the fans determine the storylines.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And we're
really
absent from this now. You know what I mean?
But are we though? We still have the internet. People voice their opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess, but it's like, I mean, listen, if it was the Thunderdome, WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus Hogan, which I was at, and it's the best fucking match I've ever seen in my life. It wouldn't have happened that way because the fans turned on The Rock during the match. And if
No,
you're just sitting there on TV screens, and I know it's the pandemic, I understand that, but the only point I'm getting at is it's diluted my interest a little bit, only in the fact that I feel like the storylines and the guys getting pushed are directly a result of Vince McMahon just deciding. And this is what I want. This is what I like this guy. I like this guy. And I'm not saying I certainly think the push for Roman Reigns finally, yes, that's a.
I love what they're doing with McIntyre too. That's what people wanted before the pandemic. They wanted McIntyre as champion, and that makes sense.
I mean, I think it's working, but it's just hard. I just can't wait till we get back to crowds, people chanting. I mean, it's just so funny. I mean, one of the two things we love the most, I mean, is really, music and wrestling is so dependent on having crowds,
Oh, yeah.
Like,
although I am glad that, no more what chants.
Man, I would take a what chant at this point, bro. Give me something, man.
I feel you.
I'm sick of seeing all these Zoom screens, man.
Right.
So anyway, let's roll it down. So the first match we have is Kevin Owens versus Aleister Black. So I'll read a little rundown. They've been clashed a few times on Raw after Black's heel turn, but none of those matches have seen a result that felt particularly satisfying. So the two men could put on a thrilling Hell in a Cell match, but they haven't been featured as a top-level feud worthy of the stipulation. So they will be in a Hell in a Cell.
I kind of feel. I don't think they're gonna put a match like that in Hell in a Cell because they already have 3 Hell in a Cell matches or 4 confirmed.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they've given up on Aleister Black. I mean, Jesus, they gave him a generic shit ass theme song now.
Yeah.
But at the same point, I think Kevin Owens is going to take this one, and I don't think it's going to be as cool as I think it's going to be.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you, KO, for the win on that one. I mean, he's too much of a name right now, and a time where I feel like we're kind of in this midstream. Like, it's so weird to see like John Cena now. Like, he seems like he's like completely out of the business. Like, and is fine with it. Like, he's like John Cena, the celebrity now. Like, what? Like,
right. But at the same time, this is great because now we can create new stars and new.
I mean, outside of finally pushing Roman though. I mean, we're still kind of I haven't seen any young guys that kind of give me that, but we'll see. So moving on, especially and speaking of that, this is my point exactly. I'm sorry, bro. Dominic Mysterio. I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling it. This feels like, what this feels like? It feels like Ted DiBiase Jr. You know what I mean? It's like, just because your dad was a great wrestler, and I get it. They don't all make it. And who's he facing? Seth Rollins versus Murphy? He's definitely getting his ass whipped.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the SummerSlam match between him and Seth Rollins. I mean, yeah, Seth Rollins carried a lot of that match, of course, but Dominic's got some game. I just think we automatically put this. It's our fault as fans in a way. That just because he's a second-generation superstar, we automatically just assume, like, oh, the bar's been set. When I try to look past that, huh?
He doesn't have a good body. He's kind of flabby.
There's a lot of wrestlers that don't have a good body that are doing just fine. I mean, look at Kevin Owens.
Yeah, but I don't know. When your dad's Rey Mysterio, one of the most acrobatic high flyers of all time.
Right. At the end of the day, though, I just look at it. I watched the match. Did I enjoy it? Was it good? Yes. I like his matches in the ring. I think he does a good job. On the mic, maybe not so great. His acting, actually, it's shit. It's complete shit. But I like what I'm seeing so far in the ring. Yeah, they need to work on his ring gear. He needs to work on his appearance. But that's all time. He's still young. It's time to develop.
But this is a triple threat, though. So who do you got? I mean, Dominic, Seth, or Murphy? I mean, I'm
gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say Murphy. I'm gonna say Murphy. Well, hear me out. Okay. In that storyline with Aaliyah, whatever her fucking name is, Dominic's sister. Some tells me she's gonna get involved somehow. Some weird shit's gonna go down, and Murphy's gonna take the win. That's just I just want to go. That's my ridiculous
Right,
call.
because it says on the October 5th edition of Raw with Murphy attacking Rollins for exposing text message with Elia Mysterio.
Yeah.
Rollins fought back and laid out Murphy, so maybe they'll.
Yes, I'm going with Murphy. I'm going with Murphy just because
All right, Murphy.
I love to see it. I love to see it.
I am going to go with the Monday Night Messiah and Seth Rollins.
Well, the only reason why I didn't say Rollins too is I'm taking consideration, with Becky, baby on the way. He needs to go away for it. So this would be a good way to play him off.
He's really developing into a great heel again, but I think
he's so good. He's so
awesome.
good as a heel.
I've always loved Seth. I mean, he's
so good as a heel.
Okay, now we have The Miz versus Otis. The winner takes Money in the Bank contract, a long storyline that ended up in court. Finally is close to reaching its end. JBL serving as the judge. Order that Miz and Ortiz will face off one-on-one with the Money in the Bank contract on the line following a Miz bribe, landing the match on the pay-per-view.
Because I loved the original Mandy Rose and Otis thing. I thought that was brilliant. It was entertaining. But this shit's just garbage. I don't even care about this match. I really don't even care.
Like, who benefits? You know what I mean? Like,
nobody really benefits because if the Miz wins, we've already seen the Miz with the Money in the Bank. I don't care.
God, have you ever seen a more lame WrestleMania title defender than the fucking Miz? And he left that WrestleMania with his belt too, didn't he? With the triple threat. Wasn't it? Or no, it was Was it versus Cena? And then Rock came in and then nailed out Cena, and then fucking he retained. He retained at WrestleMania. I can't believe that.
And it sucks. I love the Miz. He is so great. He is so great. But I just feel like he gets.
He's the most overachieving real world cast member in history.
Oh fuck! I don't even give a shit about this match. I don't give a shit about the storyline. Just fucking pass. I would
say the only person because of what we were saying. I would if I were
Otis,
booking it. Yeah, I would give it to Otis because he's the only one that would benefit. So.
But at this point, the only time where I thought Otis cashing would have made sense is I just because I would want to see it is when the Fiend was Universal Champion. I would just love,
man,
and especially like now Mandy Rose is involved, and now you got Alexa Bliss with the Fiend. It would have been just so cool. You could have done some really cool shit.
See, because I could see Otis getting it and then cashing it in and failing. You know what I mean? I don't think either one of these that has the Money in the Bank is going to cash it and get either title. I don't see the point.
Because also you can't turn Miz face, so him going after Roman's title would make no sense. This is shit. It's all garbage. I hate this storyline.
Yeah, so that might be the bathroom break match.
Yeah,
All right, so Jeff Hardy versus Elias. After Elias's return from injury, WWE revived the "Who hit Elias with the car" angle that they had resolved during Hardy's feud with Sheamus. Elias hit Hardy with his guitar in his surprise return. Hardy then interrupted Elias' concert on Raw, leading Elias to issue the challenge for the pay-per-view.
Here's the tough. This is one of those where it's the opposite of the last match we just talked about. Neither man could really afford to lose because Elias just came back, so you can't have him lose necessarily. But Jeff Hardy's been kind of on a weird losing streak. Lost the IC title.
Isn't he so legacy though that what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like he's been.
No, I agree.
He's tag team champion 50 times. You know.
I guess it would make sense to give the win to Elias.
Yeah, because you know.
His record just came out.
I like Elias. I fucking love the character.
Oh, me too.
I mean, you know who he reminds me of? His body style. He reminds me of Macho Man.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, but he has the charisma of like The Rock in 03, that Hollywood Rock. You know, this is so good.
So
I want to see.
Did he have like a legit real life injury, Elias, or was that storyline?
No, I think he legitimately got hurt, so that's why they had to write him off.
Okay, yeah, because I've always enjoyed him. So yeah, hopefully that'll be a good return match for him. So SmackDown's Women's Championship, Bayley versus Sasha.
Boy, that's a good. I love the storyline.
I love it. The storyline is
long-term booking at its finest right here. I love this.
So who do you got?
Oh fucking Christ! I think they need to milk this feud for a while. So I have Sasha retain. Have Bayley retain. I'm sorry. So you can milk this storyline almost all the way to Royal Rumble, possibly.
Possibly.
I mean, so I think Bayley needs to retain, but God, man.
Has there? Correct me if I'm wrong. Has there been a woman's Hell in a Cell match before?
There was Sasha Banks and Charlotte. I think it was 2017 or 16.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember, but there has been a women's Hell in a Cell match.
I'm sure if this was the first, they would have been keen to point that
out.
So.
This would be the second, I think. No, this is the third because last year was Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks.
Oh, that's right.
So this is the third. This is the third Hell in a Cell, women's Hell in a Cell, and that last year's was awesome.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks was awesome. That was a great Hell in a Cell match.
Whew. And then, so then this will be the last Hell in a Cell match. Oh, no. There'll be two more. It's just the last one has a second stipulation. Okay. But for the WWE Championship, we have Drew McIntyre defending his championship against Randy Orton. So it seemed clear that after a match at SummerSlam and an ambulance match at Clash of Champions, the issue between McIntyre and Orton were still not settled.
Just hear me out. Here's another wacky prediction. Just hear me out. I'm gonna go a little fantasy booking on this. McIntyre's gonna retain because Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, is gonna interfere. Just hear me out. Just hear me out on why. Bray Wyatt keeps going after people that have done him wrong in the past. Randy Orton is one of the key players that did Bray Wyatt wrong in the past. Why not? Why not put that feud in? Start building that feud.
I could see that.
I think that'd be so sick. That'd be so sick. Randy Orton burned down the freaking Wyatt's house. Come on, we gotta finish that.
And he just and now that we've got what's
he's on Raw now. Bray Wyatt's on Raw. Yeah.
And now he's got Alexa Bliss with him and everything, and they're pushing that real hard. And he just pushed down what's that group called?
Retribution.
Retribution.
Yeah, he buried that group.
Just buried them. Yeah, I could see that. So
I think that'd be brilliant.
But do you think it'll be like a schmoz? Like it'll like somehow like he'll just like he'll come in and he'll do something? Will there be a clear champion, or you think like he'll just be laid out and then?
Well, here's one or two problems. So here's the only problem with my fantasy booking idea is this feud needs to end. Like this feud has to end tonight. So or tomorrow. I'm sorry. This feud has to end. The McIntyre Orton feud. We got to stop that. That's why I think introducing the Fiend and interfering, that will start that feud. Because I would love to see that. I love Orton, and that would be something great there. Or if you want, I don't know.
I agree with you. I think it has to be Drew McIntyre. I mean, how can it not? He is getting this incredible push right now, and
he's a great champion. He's done a great job.
But that's my point. So is Randy Orton. So if you come out at the end of this feud and you're ultimately the victor of this feud, you've proven that you've been able to defeat the Legend Killer. You know what I mean? So you can put that notch, right on your card and be like, all right, see, I've taken out Randy Orton, so the next guy can be like, man, I've taken out the Legend Killer. Who are you? So I really think, and I like him as champ. I really do. I think he's, it's just so unfortunate that he came in with that, and I know they addressed it at WrestleMania, but with that stupid McMahon thing of what was it, like the next big.
The chosen one.
The chosen one, yeah. Like it put such a stigma on him, undeservedly. But now he's finally lived up to it. So yeah, I got Drew on that one.
Here's the only problem we run into with McIntyre retaining is who do you put him up against next?
Well, I mean,
that's kind of where we're running into like a bit of a wall here.
Well, why not? Well, I don't know. Is Otis going for? Isn't that the one that they're going for, or is the Money in the Bank for?
No, Otis is SmackDown. It's SmackDown, so that's Roman Reigns' title.
All right. I thought you can do any. I thought it didn't matter. But they have to be within. I don't know. It's so weird now. It's like because when you win the Royal Rumble, you're allowed to pick the champ. Doesn't have to be.
No, I think with Money in the Bank, the only thing is you can't. It's got to be that show. I mean, Braun Strowman wasn't he just drafted to Raw? So maybe McIntyre versus Strowman.
Could be, yeah.
But Strowman just got buried by Keith Lee, or there's a Keith Lee maybe versus McIntyre.
Yeah,
but
I think
I don't know.
May establish some other things. Where do you go with Orton again? He's been champion so many times. I swear to God, I was so disappointed. I don't know. I think it was.
The Fiend versus Orton needs to happen. I think that would just make sense.
Yeah, but that could be its own thing. That's what I mean. There's no need to put the belt on him.
The Fiend's a face. Orton's probably one of the best heels next to Rollins.
Yeah.
So I say the Fiend versus I say the Fiend versus Orton. Where you go with that?
Makes total sense. And then the coup de grace, the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Now this one I do want to see. This is my I'm pumped.
I'm excited for this. Obviously, Orton, our Roman's going to retain. Obviously, but God, I can't wait to see the beatdown. This is just going to be awesome.
I was listening to a couple other wrestling podcasts. Everybody is hinting at the fact that not only is he going to make him say I quit. Wasn't he trying to he wanted to be referred as the tribal chief.
Tribal chief, yeah. I think they're building him into some stable. Obviously,
definitely.
I just think that would be brilliant. It writes itself. Go with it. You know.
It's almost. I mean, I love it, but it's almost too predictable because it's going to.
But sometimes the predictable is what we need.
It's what we want. Yeah, it's what we need. Yeah. It's what we want.
Just go with it. It's like this is so easy, Vince. Just go with this fucking storyline. It's writing itself. We need a dominant stable on SmackDown because Raw has a couple of really cool stables. I want the return of group stables. I want this in my wrestling. I'm a big sucker for stables. SmackDown doesn't really have one. We need a good badass heel stable so we can start building up a badass face stable. You know what I mean? Plus, Survivor Series coming up. I want. Yeah. Here's what I've been hating about Survivor Series is I hate the fucking Raw versus SmackDown bullshit. I really don't like it. I want storylines. I want this new Samoan stable, whatever you want to call it, going against a developed face stable. I want that. I wish they kept the Hurt Business versus Retribution for Survivor Series. It just would have made sense. It writes itself. Why did we have to blow it off on a fucking Raw episode? This is what I hate about WWE right now. The long-term booking is just shit. It's just so shitty.
But that's what I'm saying. That back to my original point, man. You don't have fans in there to boo that shit. They don't know, and then they think it's working. That's more. But
here's what also doesn't make sense is they did the long-term thing with Sasha Banks and Bayley, and it fucking worked. It's awesome. Yeah. It's a badass storyline.
True. That's true.
Because waiting for them. You're waiting for them to betray each other, and you're waiting for one of them. Who's it going to be? You're waiting for it. It just made sense.
Exactly.
It was so good.
But if he gets in, so then let's just say that happens. He gets him into the stable, I guess. What happens there? Then who's the next guy? Do they just
This is where WWE needs to pull their head out of their asses and develop some young talent.
Right.
Let's put together a group of unexpected. Let's put a group like you can get Chad Gable. You can get him. Who else is on SmackDown? You get Chad Gable and two other guys. Maybe. You know what I want to see? Big E. We can get Big E involved. Have Big E go after the title.
Yeah, I mean, when he gets better after his stupid broken jaw because he works too hard, but could we get Finn Balor back, please? I mean, come on.
I think Finn Balor's NXT, man. There's just some superstars that are meant for NXT.
Dude, I mean, he was gonna get his push. He was the first Universal Champion, and now he's. I mean, I know he's NXT champion, and now he's like a badass motherfucker. But Jesus, man, he brings. It's not that. I guess you kind of get it with the Fiend, right? I guess you don't need the mystical thing when you got the Fiend.
No.
Whatever.
You know what? Finn Balor's NXT. NXT is its own brand. I'm so over the whole. It's a developmental brand. No, NXT is a whole separate entity. It's a separate thing, and it's awesome. Why fucking ruin it? You know.
But I just felt like, how many wrestlers besides Finn Balor have you ever seen that were Universal Champion or World Champions or anything that got sent back to NXT? I mean, I know he's making the most of it, and maybe they paid him and maybe the idea was you're the big dog, and you're brand value, you bring eyeballs to the show. I get all that. At some point, it's been 2-3 years now.
Right.
I just think okay, has he who's he developed? Let some other guy take the NXT title or whatever. I mean, I don't know. He's just I was a huge man. Finn Balor. I was he was the next coming of the Undertaker. I thought for a minute there, and they were almost setting up a little stuff with him and Bray Wyatt, even though that they would have him fight just as Finn Balor and not the Demon. But I mean, come on, the Demon versus the Fiend? Are you kidding me?
I know. I would love to see that. But
That
I think
is a match made in, well, heaven, but I guess hell. But I mean, that's a match that needs to happen.
especially, can you imagine the cinematic shit they could do with it?
Oh,
That would have been awesome.
be like Kane versus Undertaker all over again. You know what
But
I mean?
I think, and there's still time for that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
there's still
you're
time.
right. I think, and if anything, that the long game is Roman Reigns. I mean, how many years have we been begging for them to do this? And they were always like, no, we're gonna wait. And I guess, and maybe at the end they were right, because he is a monster now.
Oh, I love his heel character.
It's so good.
It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant.
Good.
It's great. And having Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece, holy shit!
I wasn't sure if that was going to work at first, because you've seen him get pushed on a couple guys before with Paul Heyman, and it but this time I was like, whoa, yeah, that works. That works really
so
good.
Great. It's
Cool.
So good.
All right, my friend. Well, that is the end of all the stuff that I have to talk about. So thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, this was awesome. I've always loved talking wrestling, so.
Brother. So before we leave, I'll put the links down there. But what websites can anybody check you out on?
Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, Super Shredder Tommy.91. But mainly Facebook.
Cool.
I run my own Facebook. You can get a hold of me. Just
right.
DM me. I'll answer. I've tried to, anyways.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this was a successful trial run, so appreciate you having on, and maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Thanks for having me. I would love to come back. Let's do one for WrestleMania. That's what.
Oh yeah, brother. All right. That's a promise. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Speak of the Devil podcast with special guest Tommy Gibbons. We'd like to thank Tommy for coming on the show and chatting with us. Hopefully you had a good time. I know I did. And we will see you on the next Speak of the Devil podcast. See you.